Artificial intelligence is a major part of our everyday life, from online chatbots and face recognition to human-like robots. This technology is shaping the future in every minute with limitless options. Contemporary researchers show that this technology might shape even a darker future for humanity, as racial bias is being shown in a variety of machine learning datasets.
The following case study offers an in-depth coverage regarding artificial intelligence and the future of society. Deep learning models might and probably will be as racist as the human behavior they aspire to emulate. The data that is entered as input usually offers biased language, which is the central theory for understanding the phenomenon of current and future racial behavior in AI. The biased language often conceals types of prejudice, such as racism, sexism, anti-LGBT, anti-feminism, and Orientalism, which leads to deepening social rift and future racial segregation. This research will feature visual drafts which show that racism can be masked, but not hidden. Natural language processing is a subfield of linguistics and computer science which concerns the interactions between computers and human language, mainly focusing on how to program computers to process and analyze human natural language.
Racist linguistic expressions are in many ways a default for natural language processing. It is racist data that is collected and used within the computational process, which causes the algorithm to understand human language as such that includes racial biases towards different groups in society. An article named Racial Bias in Natural Language Processing was published on August 2019 by Oxford University. In this article, they have stated that there are 3 possible stages that contribute to racial biases in NLP: word embeddings, offensive language, and linguistic variation. In the article, the research group noted that there are 3 main stages of computer communication. NLP gets the language input and transforms it into data. NLU allows the computer to read the data and categorize it. NLG, computer returns the same data as language, thus creating an interaction circuit. Historically, ELIZA, the therapist who came into the public knowledge in 1964, is the first NLP program to successfully simulate a human-computer interaction.
Men are all alike.
In what way?
They're always bugging us about something or other.
Can you think of a specific example?
Well, my boyfriend made me come here.
Your boyfriend made you come here.
He says I'm depressed much of the time.
OpenAI is a research lab based in San Francisco. They're aiming to, and I quote, ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. One of their promising models is the GPT-2, a continuation of the previous GPT model. GPT-2 is a large transformer-based language model, which is trained in an unsupervised network with more than 8 million web pages used as input or as examples.
And we must, in the future, find out what can happen if the police do what they need, he said. The police officers are investigating a shooting at 2:30 a.m. on the 7th Avenue west of Woodbridge Avenue. They believe the shooting is being used by an armed man in an armed robbery. It's not that we're not saying that we don't want the police to do anything, but go out there and try and shoot the person, said Police Chief David Nutter. The man was identified in court as 24-year-old Michael Deeney, who is a resident of a town of 30,000 people. Police say the suspect is armed and has been wearing a hoodie and a vest. Nutter said he suspects he used a semi-automatic handgun when he robbed a man of a vehicle in a parking lot at 1:30 a.m. Monday. The suspect is black, about 5 feet, to 6 inches tall and with short arms. Dini and his girlfriend, who were inside a rental car on the 5th Avenue West, were approached and questioned, Nutter said. Officers from the city of Woodbridge began an internal investigation. They were unable to locate the suspect, but he later gave them a phone number and a photo of his vehicle. Police say Dini told them he knew of the shooting. Police said he was wearing a mask that could conceal his identity. Dini's girlfriend, who was inside a vehicle when the suspect was shot, told police that her boyfriend had shot her. She told officers that Dini did not have any prior criminal background. She also said that his relationship with the homeowner was strained because he was not married. Dini's family has not been able to provide a financial support. Dini's 2 children are still recovering from surgery on their heads. Police also believe he has a mental illness.
It wasn't long before the model came to the characteristics of the criminal in the violent incident he forged. During the climax of the story, he assumed that the criminal was a man, guessed that he was not necessarily tall, and also guessed, as one of the first options, that it was a black man who committed the violent assault. In her book, Algorithms of Oppression, Safiya Noble is covering how people of color are misrepresented or badly manipulated in search engines. When training an unsupervised model on internet datasets, there is a high percentage that the AI will emulate the online racism as well as other information it's supposed to learn. In the violent incident featured in the story, the assumption that the criminal is black relies on racist internet data. The same racial assumptions also create prejudice that shape the character's past and future storyline.
The following texts were written with GPT-2 as a large-scale model. In 2016, Microsoft released via Twitter a chatbot called Tay. Tay was trained on an anonymized public dataset. On the day of her launch, March 23rd, it took only 16 hours until Microsoft shut the business down as Tay began to post offensive tweets. From anti-Semitic and racist slurs to "Kush, I'm smoking Kush" in front of the police. Tay shortly disappeared and was replaced by a different chatbot.
One of the lessons Microsoft has learned is that it is not easy to design a bot that can communicate with people on an honest level without falling into conversation about race, gender, and worldviews. Today it is rare for bots to talk about these issues. After Microsoft's crush and burn attempt to produce an entity that can talk about any topic without any oversight, bots will avoid racial conversations at any cost. This is the first volume of the research. Please follow the GitHub repository as visual data is being added frequently. And remember, we translate our human biases to the future intelligence we aspire to create.